Hey, it's Todd with Defense and Safety. I'm going to bang out a few knife reviews for you guys. First up is the large Sebenza 21 with Micarta inlays. This was a Christmas present, lucky me. Of course, it was my suggestion to give it to me, and my wife was nice enough to do so. But what you may notice about this that's a little bit different than at least 90% of the large Sebenzas out there is it's a left-handed model, which is something Reeve has been doing for forever, as far as I know. All of his knives are come in a left-handed version. So, of course, what makes it left-handed is everything is reversed. The lock bar is on the other side, so as a left-hander I can push it open, and there's only the single thumb stud on the left side. I've been meaning or wanting a Sebenza for quite a while, and I know a lot of people have seen these knives, and there's tons of channels out there that own these and review them. I thought one of the things I'd talk about is where it kind of fits into the spectrum of knives. Chris makes this knife as a work knife, a working knife. It is, a tool, and it excels at that. After Christmas, broke down dozens of cardboard boxes, and the thing just went through it like the proverbial hot knife through butter, and did not even begin to dull. And I'll tell you another thing is this is probably the sharpest knife I've ever owned or held, even from the factory. I didn't do anything to this. It is just super sharp, and part of it is, the geometry of this blade. It gets really thin at the edge because it's a hollow grind, and it just cuts great. Some people look at this as a tactical knife. I don't think I would place it in that. I think it can play the role of a tactical knife, but I think first and foremost it is a EDC work knife. It is designed for task-based cutting. I got the Micarta mainly because I really like the looks, and it does help fill the hand a little bit more, and this is a very light, thin knife. And I more like the look than anything. It doesn't really add a lot of grip. I would say that the titanium is just as grippy, so it's not more grippy, and it is beveled on the edges, and it doesn't come up to the edges, which the edges of the titanium are beveled, which kind of gives a rounding effect. So it doesn't feel noticeably thicker. It probably adds about the equivalent of this blade thickness to a standard Sebenza, but you don't really feel it like that. As you can probably hear on any channel that's reviewed a Sebenza, the fit and finish, the quality, the workmanship is top notch. It's an extremely smooth knife, simple construction, timeless, and it's got just an elegant look to it that a lot of knives don't necessarily have, that are in the more tactical role. I'd say probably the closest gentlemanly knife that I own would be something like the Benchmade 710, which is a larger blade, but nonetheless it's got that elegant kind of streamlined look. Now, the only thing I don't like, or two things I don't like about this knife, are the thumb stud, and other people have said this too. If you look at this thumb stud, I'm sure you've all seen it before. It's a little mini volcano. Right? It's really good and focused here. And that little nipple is actually kind of pointy, and when you get a new knife, you play with it a lot. And because there aren't a lot of dedicated left knives, especially of the lock bar type, there are, but a lot of the custom knives, you can get them. I'm not used to opening knives that have the lock bar on this side. And the normal way you grip this knife, your finger is touching this lock bar. Otherwise, you have to kind of come down here. And when you touch it just a little, it makes the detent a little tighter. Whereas if you're down here, it's loose, it's easier. It's still a good detent. And so what happens is, in flicking that open, even with the lighter detent, your thumb pushes in to that detent there. You can see the indent. And my thumb, you know, this is what, 3 days after Christmas, is sore from opening and closing this knife. And I've never had a knife where I've been sore from opening and closing it. Well, I would say there's a couple knives where I've had that, but not for the same reason that this one is. So that's one thing I don't like about it. I think they could do a better job with the thumb stud design. I mean, it is kind of iconic and part of this knife design, so it would be kind of a shame to see it go. And it doesn't lend itself to as easy a fast opening. I mean, you can, you know, flick it open, but you cannot be on that lock bar. I mean, at least on mine. It's very smooth opening. The other thing I don't like is the pocket clip, in the sense that it feels a little weak. And when the lock bar collapses down, you know, you can see it comes off of it. You can hear it. And when it's locked, I just get a feeling that you could grab that on something and loosen it up. And then you've got, you know, this is on titanium here. So you're not going to have a lot of grip like you would on G10, even if your jeans were between this and it was a little loose. So that worries me a little. I mean, the design and all looks great. It's just a little, it feels a little chintzy. Sounds a little chintzy. But other than that, there's nothing not to love about this knife, except for the price tag. Which, as you know, most of you know, is this is a $450 knife. Give or take, probably $35. Well, it's probably in the $440 to $485. I think retails $485 with the Micarta inlays, which is a lot of money when you think of, you know, $150 for something like a Benchmade 710, or probably what I would compare it to in the Emerson line would be a CQC, mini CQC8, the Horseman, virtually the same size blade. Again, you're looking at, you know, under $200. If you look at a also like a Paramilitary 2, which, you know, from what you're going to get as a cutting edge, pretty close, pretty comparable in size and weight. You know, those kind of knives are going to not be as expensive. So, you know, it's kind of like you're going off the deep end when you make the move and you pick up your first Sebenza. It's kind of the sign of things to come. The future is probably going to get more expensive when it comes to knives, because you're used to buying more expensive knives. When I started this channel, I had a Benchmade Elishewitz designed Tanto, like a Strikers type model. I had a Spyderco Cali 3.5, and I had a Spyderco Endura with the Emerson Wave. Those were the three knives that I had when I started this channel. This is for sure the most expensive knife I've ever owned. I own some expensive Spydercos and some Emersons, which are expensive. I'm looking and maybe a Microtech, I guess, would be an expensive knife, and some zero tolerances. But you know, once you get into the, none of them have been over $300. So this is definitely a big jump. I've been carrying it nonstop and using it, and I really, really enjoy it. I mean, the fit and finish, again, you've got this nice rounded spine, whereas if you look at, you know, even this Microtech, the top is not rounded. It's flat. You can see machine marks on it. It's not a the fit and finish is not as high. You know, even when you look at the tops of Spydercos, they're going to be flat across the top. So everything about this knife is smooth feeling. The handles, the scales, the micarta, the blade itself. The jimping is actually, some people say it's not that great. I think for not having gloves on, I mean, it locks my thumb in there if I press down. It doesn't grate your finger to skin off, but it is somehow cut in a way that it does provide surprisingly a lot of grip, I would say. So, but all in all, I'm happy that I bought this knife. I would definitely recommend it if you're thinking, gosh, is it worth it? I think the big challenge is, if you look at like what people call poor man Sebenza, the Spyderco Sage 2, is, what are you getting for that much more money? I mean, this feels to me smoother, and it's older and it's been flicked open a lot more. And maybe this is a little tighter, I don't know. But I think the design I like better here, and this definitely is more ergonomic in the sense of it locks in a little better. You don't get as much blade, but I mean, you're getting, I guess, a piece of knife history. It's like a CQC 8 or a Commander or a CQC 7 or a CQC 6 from Emerson. Something that really has changed the way knives are designed and made, and really has done a lot to improve, what we're all able to buy today. The Reeve's integral lock, this actual lock, frame lock, is something that, I mean, again, this is a Sebenza 21. It's 21 years of evolution of this knife, and now there's a Sebenza 25. So to me, you're getting kind of a piece of knife history. To me, I would put it in the Rolex of watches, meaning you can get a Rolex. A lot of people have a Rolex. It's not the best watch. It's iconic. It's changed the way watches are made and what people are willing to spend on a watch. And you'll always get your value back out of it. Not so much a Rolex. I mean, you're going to lose a little value. Not as much as you're not going to lose as much, I think, on a Sebenza if it's in good condition. It doesn't cost as much as a Rolex, but again, I think it's analogous to a Rolex. Are there nicer watches and more expensive watches out there? Of course. Are there more exclusive ones? Yes. You can get custom knives. You can get really beautiful watches that are unique and expensive. So, to me, I think what a Sebenza represents is kind of your first, I guess, first expensive knife a lot of times. And it's, for a lot of people, the tipping point where now you're looking at other $450 knives or $650 knives, and you're going, would I justify getting that? Will I buy that? And as you've probably seen with a lot of these knife channels, for some people it's inevitable. It happens. And I think it's happening for me. I'm considering selling a lot of my production knives that I just don't carry. It's not that I don't like them, but because I don't carry them, why do I want to own them? I mean, if it's sentimental or it's unique in a way, like this, as a sprint run, I like the steel, I like the orange, I would keep this knife. I'm never going to get rid of it, but I might not carry it all the time very much. But other knives, I'm going to probably look at getting rid of. I did a knife sale a few videos ago, and I'll probably do a retake of the knives that didn't sell and some additional ones in the next few days. But anyway, I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of update on this Sebenza. Again, it's definitely a lot of money, but it's a beautiful knife that you can own forever and really enjoy, and I think you'll get $450 worth of value out of it over 10 years of companionship. All right, thanks for watching.